Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Daniel Davis Deep Dive Christmas Edition. It's December 25th, 2024. And I know ordinarily this is a day to celebrate things and to talk about, peace on earth and all that, because it's the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ, the Prince of Peace. And certainly that is worthy to be celebrated on this day, no matter the circumstances. There have been many times in history where this day falls in the middle of a war, and those who are fighting on it have to make the best of it. I'm going to show you here a brief excerpt of about a 2.5 minute interview. And for various reasons, we can't play the whole thing here on this show. We've got a link to it downstairs. I strongly recommend you watch the whole thing. It's not that long. But what I'm going to show you here is enough. And it's, I'll just be honest with you, it's going to be a little hard for me to get through. What you're going to see is a gorgeous 23-year-old Ukrainian woman who I understand is a college graduate. And she is on the front lines fighting as a drone pilot in the Russian war there. And she was interviewed recently, and people wanted to ask her, what is it like on the front line? This is what it looked like.
Люди не розуміють, скільки життів там закінчилось. Скільки, людей, навіть вони сюди не повернуться, бо їх тіла, просто не знайдуть. І, це люди, яких я знала, які до мене були близькі. Я не знаю, це прям жахливо. Це дуже страшно. Особливо, я не знаю, мені це прям дуже віддає. Дуже віддає, коли ти повинен, ти дивишся на чийсь труп і просто шукаєш, щоб не було нашої пов'язки. Для мене це тут найжахливіше, бо я не бачила стільки раніше смертей, і для мене це, правда, дуже важко.
One of the reasons I am so much against war is because I've seen it. I have 4 combat deployments of my own, everything from high-intensity tank-on-tank warfare to counterinsurgency to training foreign forces, etc. I mean, I've seen it all. And even what I've seen is not a fraction of what this woman sees on probably in a single day, all of mine together. But I have seen enough to see the utter devastation and the suffering of the people who were forced to fight it by their governments, and certainly the civilians who were caught in the middle that have nothing to do with anything and just want to live a life. This woman, by all rights, should be getting ready for a wonderful Christmas. She should be spending it with her family. Her whole life should be in front of her. She's got a good education. She has every prospect. You can see she's very gregarious. She's got a winning personality. There's no telling what she could do in life. And yet, the trauma that you can see etched on her face from just those brief few comments is clear evidence that if she survives the war, and every day it's possible she's not. She's one of the high value targets for the Russian side, as it is in both cases. Both sides always look for drone operators because of the lethal threat that poses to their forces. So they're constantly looking for her. If she survives it, you see that it could potentially take the rest of her life to undo the mental and moral trauma that's done with her. And we've seen that in the aftermath of all kinds of major wars, whether it was the Korean War, World War II, World War I, Vietnam, etc. There's been trauma by those who fought it. Even the wars I've been in Iraq and Afghanistan, a lot of people have suffered significant moral wounds that never show up on the body. You can't see that there's no Purple Heart given for that kind of thing because there's no marks on the body, but the mark on your spirit and on your soul is substantial. This is just one woman. There are other reports from men similar age even, or even older. The age doesn't even matter. There's a lot of guys in their 40s and 50s, some of whom have been fighting this war in some cases for 2 and 3 years themselves. And because of the shortage of manpower, many of the Ukrainian side, they don't get rotated off. They have to live with this every single day. And though we don't like to talk about it in the West, and I don't even see much about it, discussion about it in the Ukrainian Telegram channels and their media, Maybe they'll do that later on. But I, as someone who's lived through this, understand that you are building up this huge reservoir of lifelong challenges for the people that we claim we want to support. If by some chance President Trump would be listening to this, or Keir Starmer, or even Volodymyr Zelensky, do the only thing that is rational and logical and has any kind of heart. If you care about the people of Ukraine, stop the war today. Don't let what you saw on this screen by this young woman here who goes by the call sign of Siri, don't let her trauma be manifested on so many other people. Because they're still recruiting people to this day. They're still force mobilizing people to this day. There are civilians right now who are living in fear every day that there's going to be a knock on the door, or that the police are going to pull up in front of their house and grab them. And it will happen. There are thousands of people right now who will be grabbed and be put in her shoes. Don't inflict that on them. Don't do more, because it can't stop the end. The end is ordained. It is time to do the right thing. We can worry about who wins, who loses, whose political gains, who politically loses, and what the ramifications of that. Those things can all be sorted in time. But none of that stuff is going to change the outcome. But what it will change the number of people who get to live. And Ukraine will need every single able-bodied man and woman they have to have any chance to rebuild their country once this final negotiation is done. Last thing I'll leave you with is this understanding, because I know many friends of Ukraine, and Ukrainians don't want to hear this. But listen to me, I cannot more emphatically convey this point. It is already too late. We can't get the outcome we desire. It has been set, the minimum standards have been set, and there is no reason why Russia would voluntarily settle for anything less than that. They'll either get it at the negotiating table, or they'll get it by force of arms at the cost of a whole lot more dead Ukrainians. That's what makes sense. It is time to recognize it's already over. Let's make sure we don't sacrifice thousands of more Ukrainian men and women like Siri here. That's what I want to convey on Christmas, because I would love nothing more than for Christmas in 2025 that all of those people that are currently on the front lines get to enjoy Christmas at home with their families and get on to the process of having better lives. I pray that next Christmas we get to celebrate some of those stories. Thank you very much. God bless you all. God be with you. And I pray that the end of this war comes very, very soon in the new year. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next episode of Daniel Davis Deep Dive.